Panelists, this next question for you is about Nick Suzuki. What happened to the Nick Suzuki who enjoyed success in the playoffs last season? I don't feel as if I see the same player over the last few games that we've seen even earlier on this year or in the playoff bubble. What happened to that Nick Suzuki?
He hit a wall last season as a rookie also. He's hit it a little earlier this season. The NHL is hard, man. It's a tough league. I mean, and especially this season with the condensed schedule, every second night he's playing big minutes. He's getting almost 20 minutes a game. He's playing against other teams, some of their top players, and it's a grind. And there's a reason why it's a learning curve in the NHL, physically, mentally, everything. And I think it's just times you forget he's such a talented player, and his hockey IQ is so smart. I think you forget at times. He's about 21 now, or his second year in the NHL. It's a grind, man. It's not easy, and we're just seeing that. And that's why Marc Bergevin took a huge risk this season, going with the 3 young centers, thinking they would be able to play like they did in the bubble for 10 games over a 56-game schedule, and it's not easy. And I think it's as simple as that. I think it's just a learning curve. Claude Julien spoke often about the growing pains they're going through with the centers, and they're going through them. It's a grind, man. I've never played in the NHL. Rick, you did, but it's a tough league to play in, and Nick Suzuki's learning that.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's it's kind of catching up to him, the grind, as you describe it. I mean, he's not an overly big guy, and he's playing lots of minutes. He's getting opportunity in a lot of situations, and it's wearing on him, and he's feeling probably the pressure that he's not performing and getting the results like he was getting before. So this is a classic example of a young kid that's dealing with adversity and has to find a way to to build on what he did before, and he's going to mature from it, and hopefully sooner than later, because he's obviously a big part of the club. But right now he's grinding and not finding a way to get his best game out there. But one thing remains the same: when you have that type of skill and talent, it will eventually come to the surface again. But he has to understand what he needs to do to get his best game out there, starting sooner than later.
And if you talk about the way that he played in the bubble, it was such a short period of time. There was no travel. All the games were in Toronto. And then that's something that they're working on this year, is the amount of travel. For example, they played at home against Winnipeg Saturday, on a flight to Vancouver on Sunday. They're facing the Canucks on Monday. So it's a lot of that's wear and tear on the body. And the fact that he's still a young player, second year in the NHL, learning how to become a centerman, and he wants to go back to that player that we saw in the bubble, but it's going to take a little bit more time for him to get there and to develop into that player. And this is just kind of how life is. It's going to take time, and it's happening now in a special year with 56 games, with a pandemic, with a lot of other outside factors playing into it.
Yeah, these NHL guys, especially first-round picks like Suzuki, they've always been the best player on their team, or if not the best player in their leagues. And they probably don't go through a whole bunch of periods like this when they're coming up through the minor hockey ranks and the junior ranks. So this is a learning experience. And Suzuki, though, the thing is, he's still working hard. He's still playing a 200-foot game. So I'm not that overly concerned about him. I think this is just something you'd expect a young player to go through. He'll learn, his body will learn little tips about how to prepare and be ready for this grueling schedule. He really has to improve his faceoffs, and his faceoffs just aren't good enough for a guy who's playing the amount of minutes he's playing, and on the power play also. But I mean, I'm not worried about Nick Suzuki. He's a smart kid. He's a solid hockey player. He's a two-way hockey player. He's just learning how to play in the NHL, not only on the ice, but also off the ice, and how to prepare yourself for games. And as I just mentioned, this season is more difficult than anyone he'll ever play, with the different time changes and the games back to back. So it's it's a growing pains. That's what it is.
And it might not be a bad idea to back his minutes off a little bit to try and keep him fresh. I don't know. Obviously, when you have a guy that talented, you want to go and let him play as much as he can play. But, maybe he's not as sharp as what he was because he's fatigued a little bit. And I don't know if that's a way that you can try and get him back to play the way he was playing before. But it's it's like we've all said, it's tough and it's a grind, and they just they have to challenge themselves to figure out what they need to do to play better. And as the schedule starts to wind down, games are tougher, a little more physical play, and they're going to need their best offensive guys to do exactly that, bring some offense.
Well, we're just going to have to wait and see with Nick Suzuki. It's probably one of the first few videos we've done where no one has brought up Patrice Bergeron's name at all. Remember when everyone was comparing him to the Bruins center? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Visit hockeyinsideout.com as well to check out our full episode.